tried to think of a funny bit to open up this video with, and I just couldn't. So let's start with a few quickies first. Check out these epic new character posters for Justice League. They look fabulous, if I do say so myself. Second, there's a rumor running about that this hat has spoiled a major plot point of the Justice League movie, and it does look quite menacing indeed. But it didn't. It's not an official description. Unless there's a licensing contract that has a specific stipulation or clause pertaining to the description of a product, most vendors simply write whatever they think will make the product sell. So, not official, and let's get to today's story. There is an epic interview with Danny Elfman that I had to share with everybody because on September 28th, 2017, Billboard released an interview with Danny Elfman, who is now the composer for Justice League, and asked him for his thoughts when it came to scoring the film. Billboard asked him, "You've just been in London recording the score for Justice League. It's been 28 years since you scored Batman. What was it like going back into the DC universe?" To which Elfman responded, "It was great. It was like I never left because I'm using the same thematic material that I used back then. It never actually went away. It was just great fun." There are a few little fan moments. I inserted a moment of the Wonder Woman theme that Hans Zimmer did for Batman v Superman, but I also had 2 minutes where I had the pleasure of saying, "Let's do John Williams' Superman," and that for me was heaven because now I have a melody to twist and I'm using it in an actually very dark way in a dark moment. It's the kind of thing that some fans will notice, some won't. It's a moment where we're really not sure whose side he's on. Let's pause there for a bit because now we do have a bit of an insinuated plot revelation. It seems that Elfman is in effect confirming what's been rumored about Superman in terms of him returning and the possibility of him being evil, but let's go on. The people at DC are starting to understand we've got these iconic bits from our past, and that's part of us, that's part of our heritage. We shouldn't run away from that. Contemporary thinking is, every time they reboot something, you have to start completely from scratch, which, of course, audiences will tell us again and again is bullshit, because the single most surviving and loved theme in the world is Star Wars, which they had the good sense to not dump for the reboots, and every time it comes back, the audience goes crazy. Okay, honestly, that to me sounds a little bit like a slam, but let's continue. Billboard asked, "Did you write new themes for such characters as Flash and Aquaman?" Elfman responded with, "I created very simple motifs. There are so many themes you can't just do a big theme for everything. So I created a motif for Flash, for Aquaman and Cyborg, but the very simple things, and DC understood. I said, these things may never be used again, but I'm giving you all the components should you wish to have things to build on. So they either will or they won't. But that's how I approach a project like this. You have to take the attitude that this is the beginning of a mythology, and it all matters, it all comes to fruition, and with any luck, they will. I love the people I worked with. They were wonderful. The DC guys were great. I kept talking about the DNA of John Williams in this other theme, using the DNA of Batman in these other variations, which were not the Batman theme, but it all derives from that. Musical themes are like genes. You carry the DNA along, and it creates these subtle connections which are perceived on an unconscious level. It's funny because I'm terrible at puzzles, but I love musical puzzles. It's a different part of my brain. I love Elfman's perspective and how he understands that this is a mythology that should be enduring and built upon. Elfman then switched to talking about his collaboration with Joss Whedon. It's funny, I've only worked with director Joss Whedon twice, but they've both been insane situations. I was joking with him at the end, it would be great to do something normal where we actually have a regular schedule instead of these hyper-reduced schedules. On the other hand, I like challenges and I love Joss, so it was all good. So once again, Elfman is confirming more of what's been leaked about how they've had to rush to complete the film. Because remember that Elfman was brought in late after they basically fired Junkie XL. It also confirms the now infamous production tales surrounding Avengers Age of Ultron, which, by the way, I have no idea why I didn't know that Elfman did the score for Avengers Age of Ultron. Like, I feel like my geek card should be taken away. Did you know that? Anywho, Billboard then asked, why do you love working with him, working with Joss Whedon? Elfman said, it was the same as when I worked with him on Ultron. He appreciates melodies and pieces. He's like, oh, you've given it identity here. There was a moment where the Batmobile shoots out of a thing, and he goes, go batshit crazy here, Batman the shit out of it. When I'm using the Batman theme, I'm using the melodic sense of it. I wasn't doing full-on Batman, and there's a moment when he says, no, right here, full-on. Okay, who else wants to see that scene right now? The final comment that I want to focus on is when Billboard asked, are his musical instincts right? As in, are Joss Whedon's musical instincts right? To which Elfman responded, I think they're great, and he loves doing little things like that are pure fan excitement. Do John Williams here. Batman the shit out of this moment. He knows how fans think. Give them these little things and let them enjoy it. I love his comments, and I think this really explicates on what was misconstrued last week in terms of using pieces and melodies in the theme. From what Elfman is describing, that doesn't sound like he's straight up recycling old segments of a score. I think it's more akin to when John Williams inserted a bit of the Harry Potter melody when Ewan McGregor is handing off baby Luke in Revenge of the Sith, and Danny Elfman has a signature orchestral epic style to him, but you can tell when it's Elfman for the most part because he has specific patterns that he likes to reuse and integrate into his scores. So like for instance, with Avengers Age of Ultron, if you go to the main theme at around the 1 minute mark, the drums just come slamming in. It's very reminiscent of the Batman theme that he created, and you hear the same pattern in the Justice League trailer that debuted. But those are effectively my thoughts on the interview. What do you think? There's certainly a lot to digest here, but give the interview a gander. I'm going to link it down below, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please subscribe so that you're notified in your newsfeed when the next video is uploaded. Please remember to give this video a like and share it about. Help support this channel through Patreon and using any of the affiliate links in the description below. You people are awesome, as always. Thanks for watching.